Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video might be a good one because the hope is to get the car on the ground and actually get it moving and drive it. I have to do a lot of little things of buttoning up, and I've already started on a few. The first thing was getting the battery back together, and as you can see here, I have had to change the way I do my battery. I had to get this little adapter for the side post because when I switched my starter, the cable became too short. So a little weird, but do what you gotta do, right? I have also bled the master cylinder, so that's all good to go. At first I was not getting a pedal, and when I originally called one of my vendors that I bought the stuff from, they said that you do not need to bench bleed the master cylinder. Well, that's hogwash. Because the master cylinder sits on such an angle, there's an air bubble that gets trapped at the top. So what I did was, because the American powertrain bracket allows you to shift it, I tilted it up as hard as I could, stroked the piston a few times, and that seemed to get rid of the air, and now I have a pedal. So I also set my pedal stop, which is good. I changed the oil already, which by the way took like 4 hours because somehow I had the filter on too tight and I had to go into town and buy this little piece right here, and it worked. Even though I'm using a K&N filter that has the nut on the bottom, or the whatever, it didn't pull it off. A strap puller didn't work, it actually broke it, but this sucker got it off. Got the exhaust hung back up to the headers, and I'm using some Remflex exhaust gaskets. Apparently they're supposed to be leak proof, so that's good. Into the car we go. Couple things we need to do here. Ooh, let's get the folks going. Obviously I need to put the tunnel back in, screw it back in. That's not a big deal. Console, again, not a big deal. The dash I need to hang back up. I have tested the digital, or the Dakota Digital, the dash, and the gauges are working. So now I can put it all back together and I will show you what those look like, and let me tell you, they look good. So I got a lot of little things to do, and I better get to it. Transmission fluid. I am going with Amsoil Synthetic ATF. The reason why I'm going with that is because there's never been really a bad review of Amsoil with the T56 Magnum. I've had recommendations of other fluids. I've seen some reviews where people have switched to Amsoil and had great results. So I think it's a safe bet. I also bought this little filler deal from the parts store. And since I have no transmission tunnel right now, let's take advantage of it and fill her up. I think it's going to take about 3.5 quarts, so I had 4 bottles of it. So here we go. I need 2 hands, so I'll be back. Well guys, I think I have everything buttoned up, at least in terms of, getting all the wiring harnesses put all together through there. And, the wiring up my console. This is all bolted in now. I'm using the temporary cardboard cutout just to make sure everything functions properly before I completely put it all together, which is why I have no carpet or even passenger side seat. So I have started on the aluminum version of this, but not yet. Also, notice my 6-speed shifter. That's awesome. For those that may have not seen the last video, the idea here is, these are our switches for our dash, and then this is my reverse lockout. This seems to work pretty good. Push that, reverse, done. All right, so take that off. The clutch, I bled it, and once I had a pedal, I noticed that it's a very stiff pedal. I would say, 50 pounds or more, so to push it. So it's quite stiff. Anybody else with a Chevelle or A-body with an RXT, RST, and a hydraulic clutch, let me know how yours feels, because this is much stiffer than I expected it to be. And as for the dash, I have gone through the setup, and I just kind of want to show you what it looks like, because I love it. So, neutral, and let's just fire this thing up. FiTech, let's turn it on too. That works nicely. It was in view. So that's kind of what it looks like, but here she goes. It's going to be a little bit noisier around my console area because I, again, don't have any carpet. But let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. So what I love is the little displays that you can put on here. Obviously I haven't set my speed yet, so we got to do that. And this one, we got our temperature gauge, and so RPM works good. Voltmeter, We got it. There we go. We have our temperature gauge and our oil pressure, which we can set on all the displays there. We have the blinkers. We have our high beam if I can reach it, except for my clutches and there we go. So, oh yeah, lights. High beams are on. You'll notice that I have the little indicator there because sometimes I don't see the one that's on the dash. But there we go. Lights off. If you do not need to get the Dakota Digital version of the light switch, because all you have to do is wire from the parking light, wire from your dash light switch into the head unit over there to your dim switch, and then when you flip these on, it will change the dim of the lights on your dash. So that was a good tip that I learned off the internet. Thank you. Obviously, fuel. Let me go through some of the switches that you can see. So fuel percent, RPM, mile per hour, kilometers an hour, time, temperature, back to oil pressure, and these all kind of do the same thing, right? You can even set it to which switch does what. Odometer, which is in the middle, which I can't flip through at the moment. Oh, if I can get this to see. There we go. High speed, 0 to 60, which I haven't done anything, so those are just nonsense. And then RPM again, high RPM, temperature. My shift light, it does work, so I set it currently to 2200 RPM, so let's see if I can get... Yeah, it works. So, yeah, now I just have to set the speedometer, and then I can go driving around, but the first thing I need to do is wash it. So, I'll be back. Alright, the car is clean, so let's go for a drive. Well, the first things I'm going to have to do is set my speedometer. So I need to go to a place where I've already kind of figured out where a mile stretches, and then we'll go from there. Shit's good. Even when I don't push out clutching all the way. Now that I'm out of the residential area, I can actually go through some of the gears. First impressions though, the clutch feels pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's a little on the stiff side from what I was hoping for, but it's not that bad. It's easy to modulate. I have it set up to engage right off the floor, which is right off my pedal stop. The shifter is just amazing. Of course, this road is under construction. Just when I get a nice clean car, it's going to get dirty again. Since I have the Avon tires on, it's going to pick up every piece of gravel on here and chuck it at my car. Oh well. At least I'm driving it. It appears like there's definite movement in the transmission. The transmission's moving. Definitely more than I would like to see. The reason why that's maybe an issue to me is those that have been watching will know just how tight of clearances I have around my drive shaft and my tunnel, so I do not want that bouncing up and down and hitting. I have no clue what speed I'm doing, which is why I'm going to a spot where the dash is you can auto calibrate it by driving a set 1 mile marker, 1 mile distance, or you can adjust it manually. So they recommend to adjust it automatically first, and then if it's off, you just make the manual adjustments from there. So that's what I'm planning on do, using a GPS, but I forgot it, so I'm just gonna have to hope this is close enough. I have the carpet out and everything, obviously, so I expected it to be pretty loud in here, but it's actually not too bad. I also expected it to be quite hot, but I did put a little bit of heat shielding underneath the floor close to the headers just to try to protect that. I think it's actually doing the job. So I went home and grabbed my little Garmin GPS just to compare the speedometer to this, and it looks like I'm about 3-4 kilometers an hour, 2 or 3 mile an hour slow on the speedometer, so I'll have to do the adjustment on that. I am detecting a couple noises when I get a little bit on it. It just means a little more load. I'm not even going half throttle because the clutch is so new. I have to break it in. Well, I think it's about time that we get to what this transmission is meant for, and that is overdrive. So we're going to go into the highway. Some of this flexing in the transmission, because I think it's the cross member. It's not the cross member itself. I think it's just how it mounts to the frame. So let's see if I can get rid of some of that. I need to figure out what that noise was. That might be just the twin disc clutch sound, but I don't know. So anyways, the battery's dying, so if you want to see more, I got at least 1 or 2 more videos to come on the transmission itself, and other than that, we are going to be using it. So